The NIH is deleting their own records at the request of the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Hey my dudes, how's it hanging? It's your boy ZNF1 here. Apparently the NIH has deleted sequences from its archives containing stuff about coronavirus. It's at the request of the Wuhan Institute. What could that be about? Before we go and get into this, though, my dudes, let's cue intro. We don't need documents or sequences to tell us the origins of COVID. No, not at all. Seems like they might be trying to hide something there, right? Nothing to see here. It's not like any bits of the archives that might reveal the origins of COVID or nothing. No, not one bit. They're just trash. The researchers of the Wuhan Institute told us to, delete this shit because it was just irrelevant. You don't need to know anything about it. Before, we weren't allowed to discuss things like this. Otherwise, we'd be labeled loonies, conspiracy nuts, ostracized, and or censored by the mainstream media and our own governments. There was evidence of deleting records of the coronavirus before, when the Wuhan Institute of Virology was quote-unquote doing just maintenance. Of all networks to actually get a hold of this leak and to try to publicize it was the Vanity Fair. That celebrity-ish sort of news network that just talks about them, new products you can get, etc., etc. Really fucking shocked me quite a bit. But shit, they're going for it seems, man, so let's fucking go. In June 18, 2021, an evolutionary biologist named Jesse D. Bloom sent the draft of an unpublished scientific paper he'd written to Dr. Anthony Fauci. Bloom specializes in the study of how viruses evolve. He is the most ethical scientist I know, said Sergey Pond, a fellow evolutionary biologist. The paper Bloom had written, known as a preprint because it had yet to be peer-reviewed or published, contained sensitive revelations about the National Institutes of Health. In the interest of transparency, he wanted Fauci to see it ahead of time. An evolutionary scientist trying to do the right thing? Refreshing. More than a year into the pandemic, the genesis of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, was still a mystery. Most scientists believe that it made the leap from bats to humans naturally, via an intermediary species. But a growing contingent were asking if it could have originated inside a nearby laboratory that is known to have conducted risky coronavirus research funded in part by the United States. Bloom's paper was the product of detective work he'd undertaken after noticing that a number of early SARS-CoV-2 genomic sequences mentioned in a published paper from China had somehow vanished without a trace. Wow, shocker there. Oh, that probably just happened on accident, just like, all those files sent around coronavirus research here at the Wuhan Institute of Virology being somehow deleted while we were doing maintenance. We don't do so-called risky research here at the Wuhan Institute of Virology with the help of the NIH. If you think that, that's just a conspiracy theory. We only do safe research here, not extremely hazardous and dangerous gain-of-function research. No, we don't do that at all. It's not like that's been proven or anything at all. No. Now, regardless of my own opinions on this whole matter, it's really suspicious for these freaking files and sequences of coronavirus to miraculously just have vanished into thin air. Especially when things are really starting to get questioned around the whole coronavirus origins. I really don't feel that it's really correct or good either, by any means, to sit here and shame people, ostracize them, ridicule them, etc. extensively as shit like it has been, simply because they question what all is going on and the mainstream narrative, and what Big Pharma and their associates are doing. It's normal, and it's been a thing throughout all of human history. Like, it's just part of being, sentient and conscious. To question these things, you should question everything. That's part of having a scientific mind. The sequences which map the nucleotides that give a virus its unique genetic identity are key to tracking when the virus emerged and how it might have evolved. In Bloom's view, their disappearance raised the possibility that the Chinese government might be trying to hide evidence about the pandemic's early spread. You racist fuck! You crazy conspiracy theorist evolutionary biologist.
Why don't you run along and play with your chemistry set?
Piecing together clues, Bloom established that the NIH itself had deleted the sequences from its own archive at the request of researchers in Wuhan. Shocker there. Isn't that a bit fishy? And would that make you question how the NIH and the Wuhan Institute of Virology run and work? Bloom sent his findings to a peer review server and copies as well to Anthony Fauci and Dr. Collins that same day, just trying to do, the right thing. Be like, oh, hey, guys, there's these sequences missing, and it suggests a lot of things. What's going on here? But it really hadn't seen the light of day in the public eye. That is until, the VF started to investigate this stuff and published its findings now. Now, because Dr. Bloom did this, Collins immediately organized a Zoom meeting for Sunday, June 20th. He invited 2 outside scientists, evolutionary biologist Christian Anderson and virologist Robert Gary, and allowed Bloom to do the same. Bloom chose Pon and Rasmus Nielsen, a genetic biologist. 6 months after that meeting, Bloom remained so troubled by what transpired that he wrote a detailed account which Vanity Fair obtained. After Bloom described his research, the Zoom meeting became extremely contentious, he wrote. Anderson leapt in, saying he found the preprint deeply troubling. If the Chinese scientists wanted to delete their sequences from the database, which NIH policy entitled them to do, it was unethical for Bloom to analyze them further, he claimed. Oh, shocker there. Of course they wouldn't want him to, investigate it further, because that means that they might potentially, uncover something. Instantly, Nielsen and Anderson were yelling at each other, Bloom wrote, with Nielsen insisting that the early Wuhan sequences were extremely puzzling and unusual. Fauci then weighed in, objecting to the preprint's description on Chinese scientists surreptitiously deleting the sequences. The word was loaded, said Fauci, and the reason they'd ask for the deletions was unknown. He said he was a screener at the preprint server, which gave him access to the papers that weren't yet public. He then offered to either entirely delete the preprint or revise it in a way that would leave no record that this has been done. Why would Collins act like this? Doesn't seem fishy at all. No, not one bit. That's actually what fucking people do whenever they're trying to hide something from people. They have outbursts or they act out of what they normally would and start yelling at people, accusing them of things, slandering them, calling them names, etc., etc. Liars do that shit all the fucking time. Like, they'll sit there and, act outside of themselves simply to make other people feel bad, or vice versa, many different things, all of which, change the subject or make people feel bad for asking something, so then it just gets dropped and the subject ultimately gets changed. Doesn't it also seem a little bit fishy that Anthony Fauci is a screener at that server and tried to, sit there and basically say, oh, here, yeah, we'll delete this, or we'll revise it in a way that, works for us and shows that we had nothing to do with this at all, that we don't have to take accountability for doing something that was wrong. That should really set off some red flags for you guys as to what the fuck's going on. I really don't think that's a really trustworthy fucking action. That's really fucking suspicious, and honestly it suggests that they're hiding a lot of shit on what's been going on between the Wuhan Institute of Virology and the NIH and the other charitable organization that was involved with it too. And like they might be, hiding something like the origins of COVID and where it came from, and the fact that it might have potentially leaked from a lab, whether accidental or intentionally. All right, so that's enough about what I think, though, my dudes. What do you guys think? My beloved members of the tribe, new viewers, fans, etc. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you guys did make it to the end of this video, go and leave the comment conspiracy in the section down below to let me know that you guys made it to the end and are a part of the 100% Club. Again, remember that it's not wrong or bad to think a little bit differently and to question the systems that we are a part of, you know, and that are actively taking part in our lives on a frequently reoccurring basis. It's okay to question these big conglomerates and these companies, industries, etc., etc. It's natural, it's human. It's completely normal to question everything. Like, it's just how we are as human beings. It's how we grow and evolve, by questioning everything. As usual, though, my dudes, until next time, please don't forget to, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And then hit that bell icon so that way you get notified the next time that we drop another video or we go live. Thank you to all 83 of you guys that are part of this YouTube tribe. And, I hope everybody who sees this has a good day. Until I see you guys next, please don't forget to, live long and prosper, take care and peace, and keep it 1,000,000% real. I'll see you guys on the flip side.